Hey there everyone, it's Val, and welcome back to the end of the day tour for Tolkiencraft II, The Labors of Valentine. Well, I have more stairs to show you. I have finalized my design, and I say finalized because you know that stairwell I showed you last end of the day tour? Yeah, I tore it all out. It has been changed entirely. So, for now at least, this is what I'm doing on the top of the tower in terms of the fence and stuff. This may be changing. I may be adding a roof to it as well. It all depends on what I decide to do with the parapets and whether that would fit in. At some point as well, I will be adding in basically gutters and redirecting the rainwater so it's not running down inside the tower. Because right now the rain is just running right down inside the tower and flooding out anybody who happens to be on the ground level. And we don't want that. And besides, over time, it will totally wear away these bricks as it runs down, and we'll end up with a slick ramp that people go, what? Slide down. And that would be very sad. So the reworking that I did. Before, I had the stairs coming up and going down on opposite sides of the tower. And I realized when I was doing some off-camera work in one of the other towers, which I'll be showing you shortly, that it wasn't very functional because you had to come up the stairs and then walk across the room to go up the stairs that were going up over here. And that was terrible. So instead, I reworked it so that it's very smooth to run up and down it now. Which should make it much easier for the defenders to run it up and down the stairs and as needed, instead of wasting time running across the room. So that also means that because of that change in design, I suddenly had some little rooms that I could set up on each floor, and I still have to determine what the various uses will be, but I anticipate them being, some of them will be offices, some of them will be little recreation rooms for the fellows. Oops, I see something I need to fix. For the fellows up on the duty, they can come down on their breaks and, have a drink, play some dice games, I don't know, something like that. And I probably will also have some barracks. Now, this particular tower is only 2 layers deep, and that is because it is the tower that's built into the hill. I considered digging down to the bottom level of the fortress, but I decided that would be a very bad idea once I took a good look at it, and I will show you why. Once I turn this on. Thank you. So if we go down here, you can see that it was going to chop off a significant amount of room on every floor, and I didn't want to do that. So I changed my mind. I was not going to dig down. Instead, this is only 2 floors, and then the roof. So it's a short, stubby tower, but it serves to demonstrate the design of the stairwells and the bonus rooms I now have. This room I made a little bit bigger. I could have made it it should be smaller. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. I made it 2 extra wide. And I did that because I figured this would be much more likely, and actually I should take this out, shouldn't I? Can that come out? Yes, that can. Much more likely to be more of an official office, because you'll have a lot of people coming in through the main gate, which is going to be located just over here. And because of that, it just seemed like, the place, where the tax office is or something like that. I have to figure out what I want to put there. Alright, so let's go outside. And you can see the outside of the tower here with the two windows that I put in. There really wasn't... I suppose I could have put another window in here, maybe. Let's have a peek through the window thing here. Nope, that's the floor. It was up a little too high. Let's go down. Maybe I can put another window. Yes, I can put another window. So I think I'll go ahead and do the... I'll put the hole in here for now. I will finish up the windows off camera, but it's going to go right there. Do I have enough? Actually, I don't have quite enough, but I'll fill in what I have. Just so I don't have elves wandering through here. Whoop. Oh, that's not going to stop them. Because it's not a doorway. There we go. Right, I'll fix that later. Excellent. So at least we have one window on this side. Alright, let's go outside, and I will show you the reworked tower that I showed you in the last episode. So again, I changed the stairs up here, and it looks exactly the same. Well, I should not say exactly. It looks mostly the same as the other one. Because I have doors located on every floor. We didn't have that problem in that short stubby tower over there, but I did have to adjust where the door was located in the wall depending on the floor. So again, these are smaller doors because most of these are not going to be like official offices, so they're not as pretty looking. There will be the barracks and the recreation areas and whatnot, as I said earlier. Right, so let's go down a few and you can see the different variations that I made. So this one actually looks pretty similar. Let's find one that's different. Is it this one? Yes. Actually, this one and several floors up had to adjust the wall a little bit so I could fit the door in. But otherwise, I mean, only somebody with an excellent memory would notice that the walls aren't quite the same from floor to floor. You know, from top to bottom, they're not all identical. And we have this nice little feature. I think it looks pretty cool. But the reason we have it is so that the window is not covered up. But you can tell that because we have more of these edges in the stairwell here. And maybe nobody would notice it except for me, but you know, I think when you see 3 versus 1, that's a little bit more noticeable. Alright, so let's go down a little bit further. This is the main entry. Of course, it goes down into the basement and down 1 more level. Yes, 2 more levels down from here. But this is intended to be the main entryway where, on this side of the building, where people will come in with their mounts, come in with their elk, and then they can go up the stairwell very easily to get to the top. And, of course, exit at any floor they would care to. So I'm not going to go down to the base. We'll have a look at the stairwell from the outside so you can see that the windows look paired up because of the alterations required. And so for someone who likes everything to be totally symmetrical, that will probably bother them. It does have some symmetry to it, which satisfies me. And this is intended to be a functional building. And so the function is more important than the appearance. So the fact that it's not perfectly symmetrical, well, you'll just have to suck it up. If it bothers you, I'm sorry, but this is a functional building. It's not built for aesthetics. Making it look pretty after the fact means that it has to conform to the function. Right, so this is the one that... Okay, so let me just give you the little story. I did this stairwell, of course, I finished it up. Then I finished up this stairwell, and then I went, holy crap, this isn't very functional. So I had to tear down 2 towers worth of staircases and redo them. The joys of insisting it be functional. So you can see this one has the same repeating pattern of gaps between the pairs of windows. But this one actually has it not on both sides. Actually, it's the same as this building. I didn't realize that. Well, there you go. So I won't go through it. It's just basically the same thing as the others. The only difference is because this one didn't have to worry about openings onto various levels. It was much more straightforward and identical on every level. So I'll go through the first couple of floors just to show you it's the same. as the other design. It's just, like I said, I don't have to account for the fact that there's a door occurring on some of these. And this is actually where I came up with this particular element. Right. So, enough of showing off my building. I actually have a couple of cool things to show you today that are item related. So let's hop into the area here. The first thing I'm going to be showing you is a new block from Draconic Evolution called the upgrade modifier. And I am going to show you the recipe. What is that? Oh, that's logistic pipes. Alright, so it's relatively not expensive. It requires a draconic core, which is the cheapest core to make, and some draconic ingots, and of course some iron, so it not being expensive is awesome. It also does not use power, which is also awesome. And what you do is you take your item if it supports this. So for example, the new magnet doesn't at the moment have any upgrades, but I have suggested a few. Oh, I didn't even notice that before. Isn't that awesome? It animates. So hopefully, if Brandon likes mine and Robert's suggestions, we might actually have some upgrades that you can apply to that in the future. Cross your fingers. But for things like armor and tools, you have this. So the total number of cores you can put into this is 12. So this is the Draconic Staff of Power. I've already got 3 in there, and I have 9 slots free. So that means you can't max everything out in all these places. You just can't. But some of the features that are very cool is you can take them out. You can put them in, you can take them out. And if I look at my inventory, you can see I got the cores back. And that is fantastic. Because it's not like a one-off thing. You don't waste them. So, for example, you can see that with the tooltips here, that you can increase your RF capacity, you can increase your dig area. So, can you imagine? Okay, so let's look. The dig area effect, the maximum is 7 by 7. So if I add a core, doesn't change the maximum. Okay, so maybe that doesn't support that. That's too bad. I was hoping it should. Ah, okay, you have to put in a certain amount for it to have an effect. Ah, okay. So you need to put 2 of these in here to get a dig depth of 8. Well, that makes sense. So you probably need at least 3, possibly more, to increase your area effect. The attack, which is what I had... attack AoE, so you can increase the area that you're damaging. And attack damage, which is where I had put it. So you can see each one of these draconic cores is adding 5. And each wyvern core adds 10. And I don't have an extra awakened core lying around, so I can't tell you how much it adds, but based on the progression, my guess is it probably adds 15. But in any case, this shows you how this works. It works the same for the armor. I'll just grab one of my pieces of armor and toss it in. Actually, let's grab this one, just to give you a peek. So you can see this cap is at 6. So you can put a lot less in this armor, but that makes sense because it has a lot less features, half as many features. So you can increase your shield capacity. Oh, that's something. Actually, let's take... I want to play with that now. Sorry. Okay, so let's take these out. Actually, let's take this one out too, because I want to see how it all works. And, oops. Let's put that in. Shield recovery and shield capacity. So, shield capacity. Nice. And this is shield recovery, so how fast it heals up. I imagine it uses RF for that. but I might be wrong. I have no idea because I haven't been damaged with this new feature yet. Okay, so that is pretty cool. I encourage you to check it out and play with it. Awesome new features. Brandon again has, well, I've never seen anything like this, so his inventiveness continues to amaze me. So that's pretty cool. And I look forward to seeing what else he might add in the future. But we also have something else to demonstrate here. And that is, it's actually been in for a little while, and I haven't played with it before. But is this, that one is, don't I have any that are, yeah, okay, this one hasn't been messed around with yet. Okay, so let's set it up here. The new guide blocks. They are, well, all I can say is I'm still learning how to play with them most efficiently to get them to do what they're supposed to do most efficiently. So I apologize in advance. I'm probably going to make some mistakes in what I'm showing you because it's still a little confusing to me. But I can at least show you some of what I've learned. Alright, so let's just turn this on. So you can use these forward and back arrows. So every element that looks like you can click on it here, you can actually, if you go really close to it, hopefully you can see it. You can see that there's a little wire frame around the buttons that you can push. So you now can go back and forth this way on top here without having to go up and down. Okay, what did I press? Okay, apparently, oh, I can't see anything now. Dang it. It's all it's so bright. Okay, let's see if we can find the arrow to change it. There we go. Okay. Okay, so that's a small problem when you have that particular one, the axis. It can mess you up. But as you can see from here, there's some new shapes, planes and axes, and I think there's several other ones in the list. I won't go through the whole list. You can use the, okay, there we go, plus and minus, or actually there's two pluses. You can use these to turn it so the orientation is different. So let's see if we can get the triangle, hexagon, pentagon, triangle. Okay, triangle is the best one to demonstrate it with. So right now the point of the triangle is pointing towards that, towards the tree. Now we can hit that, and as you can see, the point is now pointing that direction. And that is a new feature which is wonderful. So it gives you a lot more control about orientation, and that it increases the usefulness of the guides for building something. So for example, you could build a square building, and then using this guide you could put a triangle on either side to make it, you know, a square building with points on either side quite easily. So that is very cool. Right, so now if you look at, it's a little hard to see because we're white against white. I'm trying to get it at an angle so I can show you. Okay, I haven't played with this particular button. What is that doing? Nothing. Okay, I'm sure they do something. I haven't figured out them out yet. And all I can tell you about the pluses and minuses around the edge is that they increase and decrease the size of what you're looking at. If you look carefully, you can see that things are changing. So like the point is a lot more squat, but it seems to change. Which direction it's changing or which aspect it's changing seems to differ, whether, you know, if you're dealing with, for example, a cylinder as opposed to the triangle. And that's what I find a little bit confusing. I'm sure that there is a wiki out there that makes it much more clear. So I encourage you to find the wiki for the guide, the OpenBlock guide, because I'm sure it'll explain it in, well, much better than I am at this point. Like I said, I'm still learning it. But what I can tell you is that the plus and minus on the top here, for each face, it does the same thing, which is nice because it, with the old way, you had to click on a specific face to affect a specific dimension, whereas now it seems like a lot more of the features, like being able to increase the height and being able to increase the depth is available on each face, so you don't have to move around. But it does seem that the plus and minuses on the left and right sides seem to affect the width of the shape. So this plus affects the shape this way, and this plus in general affects the shape this way. But like I said, sometimes it seems to change it a little bit differently than I expected, and that's where my confusion comes in. So anyway, play with it. Maybe you'll figure it out quicker than I have. Okay, so below, and very difficult to see at the moment, let me just reduce the height of this so that it's a little easier for me to look underneath it. There we go. Okay, so that's the shortest you can have it is 3. Okay, so now we can see underneath it. And you can use underneath it to change the mode as well. As you can see, going triangle, pentagon, dome. Whoop! Okay, let's get out of there. Out, out. Thank you. So here's cuboid mode, which is a new mode, which is nice because that's basically a wire frame, and then you can have full cuboid mode, which fills in all the sides, and I think the roof as well, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go back this way. That's cylinder. Come on. Yes, it fills in the roof as well. It possibly might fill in the bottom, but we can't see the bottom at the moment to have a look at that. And of course, you can change the orientation underneath here as well. So it's much more complicated than it was before, but you also have a lot more features. So I really, once I get used to it, I'm sure I will absolutely adore it once more. Right now, all I can say about the building guide with OpenBlocks, the new version is a lot more flexible, gives you a lot more power, but it also adds more complexity to setting it up. And so it'll take you a little longer to get things orientated and sized the way that you want them. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this end of the day tour. I know I did, and I hope to see you in the stream sometime. You all take care now. Bye.